What's up, guys? This is Andrew here with my first video for Draw the Mafuba, a channel that me and some friends decided to start where we can share some cool stuff about the Dragon Ball Super card game, which you're all really enjoying. For my first video, I did want to go over a really cool deck that I just took to my locals last night and ended up topping. Really cool deck. Uses the promo from the Super Dragon Ball Heroes game, which picked up the other day. Really enjoy it. Very good game. The cards that come with it are really cool, really powerful. Kind of made a really great red deck with that leader. Basically just plays the best red stuff in the game, which ironically is my favorite color. I like to play a lot of red. So I just wanted to go over the deck and then share some cool ideas. If you guys want to use it, feel free. It's a really cool deck. So let's go over it. Obviously our leader is Super Saiyan Gogeta. His auto is when he attacks, he gets plus 5k and draws a card. That's when he attacks a leader. So it's really cool that he gets that just on the front side. So that way he can continue to draw, keep your hand full. He awakens at 5 life. When you awaken, you untap 1 energy and draw 1 card. It's really cool being able to awaken at 5 life. I know most leaders are at 4, or if they're a wish leader, you have to get all the Dragon Balls. But awakening at 5 is really neat because you get to 5 pretty quick. You can chain together some really cool plays doing it that way as well. Plus, being able to draw 1 card is still really cool. On his flip side, though, this is where he's just an absolute monster, especially because you can awaken him pretty early, but he just has double strike just for existing, which I think is absolutely insane. Just being able to apply that kind of pressure is really wild. His auto is when he attacks, you draw 1 card, and he's got an activate main once per turn, where you can KO a battle card with 10k or less, which is really great. You can get rid of those pesky, those pesky 1-drops, Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, which hurts this deck a little bit when you want to use Chain Attack. Things like that, those utility cards that tend to slow you down, that are good sideboard options. So your deck handles the sideboard that most people put in pretty well, which I think is really cool. So let's go over the meat and potatoes of the deck. We do have a 4 of Intensifying Power Trunks. When he attacks, you take a life, gets plus 10k and crit. Pretty straightforward. It's a great self-awakening tool. Applies really great pressure. Being able to crit anything is really cool. Plus he's you can evolve him right into Chain Attack Trunks. So he's just all in all a really good card. One of my favorite cards in the deck also is we run 2 Saiyan Kabas. Very similar to Intensifying Power Trunks. Auto, take a life, gets plus 10k and double strike. So he really applies pressure. He's a great game ender. Gets you to where you want to be too, because ideally you want to get down to 2 life on your own terms, so that way you can start really going off with some of the big finishers in the deck. We also threw in 2 copies of Hidden Power East Supreme Kai. Just combo, give one of your attacking battle cards double strike. Very important that you declare which card you're giving double strike. You could get rule sharked into losing out on that one, which would really suck. But it's really neat, given any of the crit attackers in here double strike, but even just some of the regular guys double strike, just to keep applying pressure early. That's the idea. I mean, you get to late game, a lot of the stuff is double strike as is, but it's really cool to be able to give some of the early game stuff double strike, so we just keep applying the pressure. Our super combo is the Sideline Assist Bulma. Just when you're at 4 life or less, you get plus 10k and you draw a card. I just like that you get 10k no matter what the situation is. Drawing a card is when you have 4 or less life. You generally get there pretty quickly because you tend to ping your own life quite a bit. But that's why I chose her over the Sparking. I feel like you don't really hit enough cards in the drop early on. You get to 4 life quicker. And ideally you end up losing Sparking anyway, because you want to resolve that Scientist Foo. But so I went with the Bulma instead. We went with 3 copies of Burst Attack Gohan. He's a great chain attack target. Generally, you start to go wide at some points. You're gonna lose down a lot of cards in hand, so he helps you fill your hand up. Plus, having critical is really cool because not only do you draw cards, but you cut off hand advantage to your opponent because now they're not getting that life to their hand. Plus, you can pressure more with that Supreme Kite, and give them a double strike. We also have 2 copies of Digging Deep Vegeta, which is personally one of my favorite awakening tools. He just applies ridiculous amounts of pressure as well, and just puts more cards into your hand. You can use them to get yourself into awakening range, and then once you're awakened, you can use them to even get yourself down to 2 life, so that way you can utilize that really cool 8-drop Gogeta. We'll get to that in a moment though. Fearless Pan, I actually only run as a 1 of. I was thinking about a 2 of, but I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about the Frieza Army Reborn existing, and I think that card's just another great win condition. So I went with only 1 of Pan. Sometimes you can go wide, and that's when she's really good. She might end up being on the chopping block in general. I feel like I don't go wide enough. There's a lot of removal in this game right now. People are getting rid of battle cards pretty quickly, so you're not able to keep a board up long enough to make her super relevant. Plus, with your leader having double strike on his flip side, I don't think she's as strong in this deck as some others. So I think I'm gonna cut her soon. I just don't know for what yet, but either way, she makes good red energy still. But we'll see where we go with that one. I run 2 of Glory Obsessed Prince of Destruction Vegeta. Great for removing battle cards on board, and then cracking in for more damage on your opponent's leader. Great target for Chain Attack Trunks. He really deals with some of the tougher matchups right now too, like Super Shenron and the skillless Goku. Unfortunately, I didn't really get to play it against Super Shenron, so Super Shenron's maybe in theory, but with other decks that I played with this card, it matched up pretty well against Super Shenron. The Storm stuff with all those stupid Bulmas. But against skillless Goku, it works really well because it takes care of those Android 8s before they can kind of go crazy with the Gokus. Depending on the situation where you're at, but just removing, being able to attack active mode battle cards and then restanding him and just going after another active mode battle card, I think is really good. That way you can kind of clear the board out, get rid of pesky blockers, things like that. So that way your big guys can smack them with double strike without worrying about blockers or anything like that. Do run a 4 of Chain Attack Trunks. That kind of speaks for itself. It's just a good card. Being able to cheat out some of those 15Ks is really powerful. I'm sure you can see that I run zen-oh in here. That's if I'm in a sticky situation, I need to reset the board, but you can also put down guys, like the Burst Attack Gohan, the Digging Deep Vegeta, the Glory Obsessed Vegeta, the 1 of Fearless Pan, if worst comes to worst. The little spicy tech I threw in here with the Preface of Recovery, which allows me to untap those 2 energy that I use to evolve. That way I can continue more plays. It just kind of just opens the door for a lot of really cool things this deck can do. I went with 3 of Foreseeing Hit, which I may up to 4 if I cut the pan. Honestly, I use this a lot as a finisher in a lot of games. I thought the stop in this card was going down quite a bit, but just after playing it with this leader, I just think he's still really good. Just being able to see your opponent's hand and get that knowledge, and take out things like super combos and things like that. I think it's just really powerful, especially when you cut your opponent down to such low hand size, which I notice I've been doing just because of the amount of pressure this deck puts on your opponent. Being able to rip those 2 cards out of his hand when he gets down, he or she gets down to like 4 cards, it's really powerful. Because then you can swing with your leader, draw another card, get that double strike damage through, and then you attack with the stronger card, the Foreseeing Hit, and you just combo out the rest of your stuff and kind of just get in there. Just a really solid card for this deck. The fact that it just has double strike also is just insane. Still a very good card. I run 3 of the Unbreakable Super Saiyan Goku. Just another pseudo super combo. You can use it to kind of apply more pressure, but a lot of times I use it to protect my own life. I noticed that I don't really want my opponent to deal damage to me. I want to control my own life in this one. Try to get down to 2 on my own without much help from my opponent attacking me. So using this to defend myself is really strong. That's why I kind of threw a blue package in here. We'll go over that in a moment, but just being able to draw a card and get plus 10k, I think it's still really strong. Like I said, just another pseudo super combo. When in doubt, he's a red energy also, but it's too good of a card to pass up. One of the win cons, Frieza Armor Reborn. This card is just absolutely bonkers. Gotta give a shout out to Eric, who also works on this channel, who let me borrow his last night. It was a great addition for this deck, and I didn't ultimately get to play it, but it scared my opponent multiple times when it got milled in one matchup, and just was really glad to see it in the drop and not in my hand, because it's threatening. And the fact that your opponent knows it's there, they really have to play around it, which then opens the door for a lot of your other finishers. Just being able to take any card out of their hand and blow up their board, and having quadruple strike, it just deals a lot of damage. We did a 3 of the Gogeta promo from the Super Dragon Ball Heroes game. This card's really cool. This is the idea with him and Frieza being reduced when you're at 2 or less life. That's kind of why you want to control your own life and make sure that you stay at 2, and you really don't want to go below that. If you have to go down to 1, you gotta go down to 1, but you gotta make sure you win that turn. And having triple strike and dual attack is just really powerful with a 35k body. You just gotta try not to attack into things like Mafuba, which obviously that's gonna be his downfall. But if they have to Mafuba that, your leader still has double strike, so hopefully they're close enough for you to take him out. We went with 2 of Preface Recovery Son Goku, like I was saying before. This really allows me to chain together some really cool plays. Great target right off of the chain attack Trunks. Generally don't hard cast them. Try not to charge that much blue. I'd rather only charge 1 blue if I absolutely have to. I want to charge the 1 blue to get the Senzu Bean up. I know that stops me from getting the Gogeta on turn 5. On turn 4. I have to play him on turn 5. But that's really not the end of the world, because some of the blue cards can really protect me and allow me to chain together some more plays, and might not even have to use this card in general to win. The deck's really versatile with the blue stuff, so I just rather keep it this way. We went with 3 of Zen-oh. This is the card that kind of gets you out of trouble. When you start to fall behind a little bit, you Zen-oh, you reset the board, refill your hand, set your opponent back if they have more than 5 cards in hand. He's just too good to not run, plus then he can continue to apply pressure. We did a 1 of a Scientist Fu, which I think is another great finisher, for 1 energy and just overall 7. I try not to get that many cards in the drop, but when you combo early on, then obviously he's going to really start to do well. Drawing 2 cards, adding more power to your hand is really great. Plus he has double strike. Just so many double striking options in this deck. That way you can just really apply as much pressure as possible. But he's kind of a given. He's just a good overwhelm card to use. We went with 4 After Image Technique. Really powerful. Negate another way to control my own life. You get pesky crit attackers coming at you. You can After Image Technique, where you can rip the life. If you got Sparking, instead of losing that card to your drop, it goes to your hand, which gives you the hand advantage. Gets you 1 step closer, getting down to 2 life, so you can start casting that Frieza or that Gogeta for a way cheaper price. Also being able to remove some of those pesky battle cards, like against Super Shenron, it can deal with the Bulmas. It can deal with Crisis Crusher, things like that. We did 2 of Is That All You Got? One of my favorite Negates ever. I'm really excited this card got printed. Just really powerful, being able to pitch 1 of your red cards and then giving minus 15k to 2 battle cards. It's just really powerful. Ran into a situation where it actually saved me a game. My opponent got a little greedy with a body change Ginyu. Wanted to push in for pressure with it first before he activated and took my Digging Deep, which he was going to then use to awaken. And I was able to Is That All You Got and kill it before he could activate the main on the body change Ginyu, which really saved my skin. And I was able to just win on the next turn because of it. Because he was going to start chaining together some ridiculous plays. So I was really excited that turned out this way, and this card just turned out to be really good. Honestly, I was contemplating just running it in the board, but 2 in the main I think is just way too powerful. Then I went with 4 copies of All Reliable Senzu Bean. This just allows me to chain together more plays, keep the aggro off my leader if need be. It's a good versatile tool. Does everything you need it to do. Yeah, having the blue means I don't get to play Gogeta on turn 4, which sometimes sucks, but having it on turn 5 is still pretty good. Like I said, it just really protects my leader, so that way I can control my own life instead of having my opponent take the life from me. I can have these pop-ups come up. So we'll go over the side deck right quick. I went with 1 copy of Mass Saiyan, the Mysterious Warrior. Also deals with the skillless Goku really well, and Super Shenron Storm. Just like I said, I didn't play against it with this deck, but I played against it with another deck that was kind of similar, and used this card in it, and it did really well against it. That way it warps away those Explorer Bulmas, so that way it's less that they're recycling. We went with 2 of the what is that, Wizard Demidraw, whatever his name is, but the guy that kills the 30k or greater when you combo with it on your turn. Just in case if I came up against those Broly matchups, I can deal with the Broly. So that way, it's not killing me. We went with 2 Kami. I noticed that I don't tend to go wide, but a lot of other decks do, so Kami can really save my skin on that one too, on those decks that seem to go really wide. That way I can just kind of blow up the board, and then I'm kind of in the driver's seat after that. Slows me down a turn, but I feel like I can bounce back really well, especially on turn 4 is when things start to really happen in this deck. Just got to make sure I get there, and Kami make sure I at least get to turn 4. We went with 2 Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan. Card's really good. Stopping Child's Wish, stopping Chain Attack. Well, not necessarily stopping, but kind of punishing them for using it. Just ultimately a very powerful card. So that way you can just kind of force your opponent to lose cards, because that way they have less ability to kill you, and now you get the ability to kill them, because now they have way less cards in hand and you're going to have way more cards. I went with 2 of Mafuba. Now if I ever get go up against any like Shenron decks or like some of the Boo decks, things like that, you really need the Mafuba to deal with some of those things. It's just a good negate. Plus I'm already running some blue, so it's not the end of the world. We went with 1 Glory Obsessed Prince of Destruction Vegeta on the board, mostly against like the skillless Goku. So we get more stuff to try to deal with their nonsense. Clears the board of battle cards. It's super threatening to anyone that relies on having battle cards on board, because you just clear them out. With 2 Bodyguard Legic for more aggressive matchups. Guys, especially if I'm on the draw against most of the aggressive decks, they're gonna have something on turn 1. So now I get a free blocker that ultimately can still apply pressure when I need it. Just having a free blocker in general is really good. We went with 2 more Saiyan Kaba in the board. They apply pressure really well, especially against like Janemba decks. You want to try to get them as low as possible, as quick as possible. Like, yeah, I get you're going to put a lot of cards in their hand, but if you get them down to below 4 life on turn 2, like that's when you're kind of in control at that point. They're going to have to force all the combo stuff to try to survive. So they might not be able to play some more of the cards that are going to go after your life, and they're kind of just relying on their leader milling. And that's when like cards like Scientist Fu really come into play, because if you don't mill it, and now you got all those cards in your drop area, you drop Scientist Fu, and you just keep going. You try to apply as much pressure as possible. So Saiyan Kaba is really good in that matchup. So probably put 2 more in there for that kind of matchup. I also did really well against Bojack with it. Was able to stop my opponent from putting all my stuff in the rest mode with that EX Evolve. The Bojack Space Pirate guy, just getting them down to low life by the time they get him out, so that way they can't put all my cards in rest mode. It's less cards I have to warp away when I get to my untap step, so it's really, really good. Maybe 1 more, is that all you got in the board as well? Just like I said, I feel like this is a really good negate. I think it's really good in the aggro matchup as well when decks go more wide, so that way you can try to wipe out more stuff. Plus it helps keep me alive. I ended up finishing the night 2 wins and 1 draw. Played against skillless Goku, round 1, took it 2-0. Round 2, I actually played against a very similar deck to mine. He was playing the same leader. Kind of had the same idea as me, just not the blue package. Went mono red, and we actually ended in a draw. I took him game 1. It was a really good matchup. Just he couldn't deal with all the double strike. It kind of turned into a staring contest for a while because we really didn't want to get each other down to 2 life because we knew what was coming. So we were kind of just dealing with our self-awakening stuff and just not letting it happen. So the game went on quite a bit. Game 2, he ended up taking me in the end. Didn't see any super combos. They were all near the end of my life, which really sucked. Couldn't keep myself alive. Just he was able to out-combo me. We ended up going to time and then ended up finishing in a draw. That was a really fun matchup though. Just going up against the same deck. And then round 3, I went up against Bojack. He got me game 1. Bojack's frustrating. So much. All those cards do so much, and his deck stalls quite a bit. So, it was just hard to get through all that stuff. Just getting his super combos back all the time, and then getting the big Bojack on board. I wasn't able to get him down quick enough in game 1, so he ended up tapping all my stuff, and I ended up losing 5 cards on my untap step, which is super crippling. So he got me game 1. Game 2, after boarding in those extra Kabas, and then I boarded in the Black Mass. I'm sorry, not the Black Mass Saiyan, the Dark Power. I'm sorry, not Dark Power. Jeez, what am I saying? The Mass Saiyan, the Mysterious Warrior. That's what I'm trying to say. Putting him in to deal with his flooded board of all those dang pirates with all their scurvy and whatnot. It was able to just apply more pressure and just keep on coming at him with double strike, and I was able to get that one. And the same kind of just applied for game 3. So all in all, the deck's really cool. I really like it. Definitely gonna play it some more. I'm gonna do some more tinkering. I want to play against Super Shenron still, just so I can see what it can really do. But really stoked about this. If you haven't picked up that Super Dragon Ball Heroes game to grab those promos, I highly advise you do if you can find it. It's the Hero Edition that comes with the cards. Not only do you get these really cool cards that are apparently really expensive, but you also get a really cool game. I know not a lot of people are enjoying it, but it's a different kind of game. I really dig it. You got a lot of cool fan service stuff. I just got some fusion with Gohan and Mr. Satan. Yeah, that's kind of dumb, but I dig it. Just imagine Gohan with an afro. But yeah, guys, thanks for checking out this video. This has been Andrew with Draw the Mafuba, and